Do you think I've only played Minecraft for 2 hours?
Oh,
Ever?
I've only played it for 2 hours.
Oh, I see.
John selects.
I have played it for a specific number of hours that I don't know how to check.
Oh,
I don't know how to check either.
You know what we could do for John selects? You could do a little ditty like do 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 do. John selects, and then the select button sound from NES. Bling. And then
That's a pretty good one.
Minecraft.
Wait, I have to say Minecraft? Minecraft.
Minecraft!
Wait, what was the sad Mario again?
I forgot about that. It's a me.
It's a Mario. My princess is in another castle. You guys want to talk about Minecraft?
I think we should talk about just E3 briefly.
The hit games
I don't think-
nation?
More like E2, am I right? More like EP, am I right?
E3.
Wow.
Shout out to all our viewers still here.
Thanks, KK.
E3. It's come and gone.
E3.
Not really. It's
Is it
actually
gone?
still tomorrow.
I thought it was still going on. I was like, what happened?
I think we wanted to pull out a couple things that we liked and a couple things maybe we didn't like about E3.
Oh.
I don't know. What are some highlights that you guys want to talk about?
Well, I just wanted to E3 in my head. Let's go back to the beginning.
Okay.
Uh,
Let's start at the very beginning.
E3 was always such a fun event for me because it was like these games that you heard rumors about that, you know, you called people liars for talking about, and then you'd get like a preview or a trailer for, or, you know, at least an announcement of some kind of time frame when it would be out. So E3's always had like a nice place in my heart, and it's going on currently for anyone who's not aware. There've been a number of what are they called? Just like, I keep wanting to call them conference calls. What are they?
Panels?
Announcements
Sessions?
for announcements?
Yeah,
Public
basically.
service announcements. No. Press release. That's what you're looking for, right?
No, not really. But anyway, whatever. The shows, they've had a few different sessions for these. I haven't found any to be too like overwhelming. None had anything that I was like, God damn, you know.
Yeah.
There were some games that I'm excited for and happy to see more information about, but nothing really that made me say like, oh, they won the conference or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They won the conference.
Yeah.
They won
Yeah.
the E3.
Wait. They broke the internet.
Oh,
God, I hate that
because
phrase.
they say that when things are cool.
They went viral. You won't believe what happens next. I
so
agree. Yeah, I'm with you.
yeah, I admit that I haven't been super diligent about all of it. I hardly ever am. My little brother like has in the past taken off work to watch the
Yeah.
entire thing.
Wow.
So
You're a super fan.
he really likes paying attention and being in the know. So usually I wait for him to text me about cool things that I should look at. Like last year, Sekiro was there was a trailer shown, and he was like, "Hey, cool game that's coming out," and he was right. So anyway,
What wasn't it like last year they had? This year seemed like a bunch of repeats of things they
Yeah.
announced last year. So the Halo
A
Infinite,
lot of
they had
stuff,
the Division 2, they had
Division 2's out.
Tom Clancy.
Yeah.
Call of Division 2.
Yeah,
but they had all of these things, and maybe the Division 2 wasn't a good one. What were the other games? Oh, like Fallout 76, like they released the trailers and stuff, and then this year was just like, hey, by the way, we know we messed up, we're adding human NPCs. They did Battlefield 5 where they brought everything back to, you know, everybody started the trend of going back to the old wars, and
Mhm.
Mhm.
this year it just kind of seemed like, oh, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk 2077 was announced last year, and this is the year we got the big trailer.
And Keanu Reeves. Gorgeous man.
Which was pretty amazing to have him walk out on stage and be super excited about this.
That was pretty wild. I'm excited for that game. I am definitely getting that on PC.
I don't know what it is. Like,
neither do I, but that's why I'm so excited.
It looks cool, and I like Deus Ex Machina Human Revolution after all, or whatever it's called. It seems like in a similar vein, you have like augmentations or whatever. But I have no idea how that game even plays. Like,
neither do I, and that's the beauty of it.
I don't think that is the beauty.
Notions.
No,
Cyberpunk 2077 is an open world action adventure story set in Night City, a megalopolis obsessed with power, glamour, and body modification. You play as V, a mercenary outlaw, going after a one-of-a-kind implant that is the key to immortality. Is it a first-person shooter? Is it an RPG? Is it third-person? Is it voice-acted? Yes.
So yeah, I don't know, like that. While the game looks cool, we haven't seen anything of the actual gameplay as far as I know.
Yeah,
so
just
we don't
that
actually
theatrical
know.
trailer.
Yeah, so I am completely underwhelmed by Cyberpunk 2077, even though the concept and like the art seems like it's a cool direction.
That's how I felt about what was that one that had the guy from the hospital show last year, Detroit something?
Detroit Becoming Human or something?
Yeah. Like, that's how I felt about that too. Like, wow, that looks great. I don't really know what that game's about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Cyberpunk did show some, obviously heavily doctored up gameplay. It was kind of a trailer, really, but it showed like the first person perspective with the HUD and everything, but it was heavily scripted. So you do get a little bit of an idea. This was last year. I don't know what they showed this year. But
the same thing.
Was it pretty much the same?
Well, they showed a massive cinematic trailer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It seemed like it's kind of like the start of the game, basically. The intro to it is what they showed.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it's
right.
Gonna be
so
good.
that game.
I don't know anything about it,
I'm not saying that it's going to be a bad game, because my point is this: just that there's not a lot of information about what it's going to be like. So I don't know. Something that did pique my interest, however, even though the first was incredibly disappointing, was Watch Dogs.
The newest one, Legion
That's
of
what it's called.
Whatever.
Watch Dogs Legion.
Watch Dogs Legion.
Yep.
Legion? Yeah. Like Legion. A sore, an open sore?
Basically. But in that, apparently all the NPCs are recruitable assets for your team.
Oh.
That then you can play as and have unique, well, I don't know if they're fully unique, but they have like voice acting and character arcs and special abilities, like skill sets.
Watchdog has no default protagonist.
Right.
You can
so it's kind of cool.
As any NPC in the game.
Yeah, so you can recruit them. You start with, I assume, because they introduce like 5 generic characters, and I assume you start with these people, and that's your team initially, and then you can recruit others from there. And there's also a permadeath system. So you, like, if you die, that character goes away, and you play as someone else.
That's interesting.
At least that's what they showed in the gameplay event. I don't know if that was just a scripted thing, but I think that's a pretty cool concept. Is like, they also had like it didn't feel bullet spongy. Like the dude took a few shots and then went down and had the option to like give up and fall into police custody, basically, or get back up and try and resist.
Wow.
And so he got up, resisted, went on this huge car chase, and then his car blew up and he died, and it said permadeath, and then it switched to a new character with a similar set of goals. They needed to then like finish the mission that the other character who died left off.
That's wild. That's such a crazy idea.
Yeah. And to be fair, I've been disappointed by Watch Dogs in the past. It looked like an insane interactable world with cell phones where you could do a bunch of really cool things.
Yeah.
And it was way more basic than that.
Mm-hmm. I remember that a couple E3s ago, the very first reveal for the first Watch Dogs.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Oh wow, it looked so cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
it looked so cool. And apparently 2 was better,
That's what I heard.
but
yeah.
I didn't touch it.
Yeah.
But anyway, that one looked neat. Another highlight for me is Final Fantasy VII Remake.
That
looks pretty cool.
They remade that. I feel like that's been out so
this
many
is it.
times.
They've just been announcing it for the last
okay.
year or so.
You know what they didn't? I've never played a Final Fantasy game, but I feel like they're always coming out with a different version of it, one of like a mobile version or a different style version or whatever. Got into those, and I don't really get what they are.
So the core set are JRPGs, just like Japanese RPGs. And they started out as turn-based RPGs, and now they're moved more towards action RPGs. So you have like a set of skills that you can do on the fly. You kind of like attack or auto attack enemies, and then gain, build up a bar that lets you do something else or something along those lines.
Interesting.
Yeah, so this one looks really cool because it's taking the characters from 7 and moving them into more of an action RPG setting. So and they also have implemented kind of a turn-based setup. Well, it's not turn-based, but it's like you can kind of freeze time after you do enough auto attacks. It generates a bar that lets you freeze time and kind of plan out your moves. Nice. So in that way, it's kind of referencing the old game. But they're also doing something that I'm not sure will be good, which is they're splitting the game up into a bunch of different parts, and they're releasing the new one. I think they said it was spring 2020. So about a year from now, the first chapter will be released, and it takes place in just the first area of the game. So I'm kind of worried about what that will mean for the rest of the game, but it's a lot more to develop because it's all 3D rendered. And they said they were adding more to the story in the city, I think, to kind of have more content.
Interesting. So they want it to basically, so it's a couple of things. Either they want to sell the people the game a couple times, make more money off purchases by giving you a little bit now and a little bit later, or it's like they're just not done yet and they have this deadline they have to meet. What do you think it is? Why would they break it up into two pieces like that?
I think it's a bit of both. Like they did kind of a chaptered release for Final Fantasy 15. They had a couple of additional storylines that they released as DLC. So I think they realized they can make money that way. And I think it's just like very complex to develop this game into a usable, like something to be proud of modern day game. I think they're trying really hard to make it, to modernize it, and it's going to take a lot more time than they thought to do the full game.
Gotcha.
That it would be like 4 additional years or whatever to actually build the full game. So instead they're going to release the first chapter and then still be working on the other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, I don't know. We'll see. If it takes like 5 years to release the whole thing, I will be mad. I think that will be really frustrating because that'll span like an additional generation of consoles. This is a PS4 exclusive as of now, though.
Yeah, it says wording suggests that the PC version might come a little bit later after PS4.
They've released all the other Final Fantasies pretty much for PC, so I don't know why they wouldn't, but they usually do exclusivity for a bit.
Nice. Cool. Yeah,
Interesting.
I think the big announcement for me probably was the Breath of the Wild sequel, although I'm only about, 25 hours into the first Breath of the Wild.
And you will probably like maybe 2 years for that game because it said is now in development.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that because it's going to take me probably another year to finish this game.
I don't know, given how much you played it today.
That's true. Looks really cool. I mean, I don't want to look at the trailer too closely. I kind of just skimmed it, saw some screenshots because I don't want to ruin the story for myself. I haven't finished the first game yet, but just the fact that another one is coming out, pretty excited for. Really happy with the first game. It's really impressive what they managed to do with the game as well as getting it to run so well on a portable piece of hardware. It's so cool.
Yeah, especially with how big the environment is. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But here's the interesting thing. This is the second Zelda to come out in the same universe as a previous game. Or not the same universe, but the same timeline, like to be basically a sequel.
What was the other one?
Majora's Mask. Majora's Mask is, as far as I can remember right now, one of the only direct sequel to a game, and it tried to follow up on Ocarina of Time, which was very much more a game not for kids, but like kid-friendly game, right? And then Majora's Mask deals with it kind of difficult mechanics. You basically spend 3 days in the game and try and do as much as you can within those 3 days, and then reset time and try and get as far as you can.
Really?
Every play session, yeah. So it's a concept completely different from Ocarina of Time, and it also has some really intense storylines because it's about kind of maybe not the world ending, but at least this town being doomed, and everyone in the town trying to, get done whatever they need to get done. Either whether they believe that the town will be destroyed or not. So it's like there's a bunch of very sad storylines that you can kind of do in one of your playthroughs, but you can't fix everything in the same playthrough. So as you're playing through, after you've just saved someone, as soon as you reset time, they're back to being screwed like they were before you helped them. So it's a really interesting concept and really cool to play, but not as easy to digest. So I don't think it did very well when it first came out, but it's definitely like a cult classic. A lot of people really enjoy the game because of those factors.
Interesting.
So it'll be interesting to see a new sequel because we haven't seen that. And if
when you talk about video games like that, and there are very few of them, I think that are such big releases that have such complex ideas behind them.
Mm-hmm.
It really makes you think about like what the future of video games hold.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of it's almost like the modern day indie game.
Yeah.
It wasn't released as an independent game, but it had such a successful release that they were able to kind of go in a different direction. And that's kind of the last few years, there's been a lot of really cool indie games that have these great storylines or like concepts to them that blow your freaking mind that these blockbuster AAA titles wouldn't get away with or don't try to have in them.
This is making me want.
You can't hack it, AAA companies.
Making me want to go back in time, play some Zelda when I was little. I never had that option, but I can go back now. Play them.
Just play some freaking Zelda. Yeah, just get a N64 emulator and play it on stream. Maybe be sick.
That would be cool.
I'd watch that. I would watch the shit out of that. That would be super fun.
Maybe there's a new segment we can do, like Dan plays games for the first time ever that people have been playing for the past decades. He's just late to the party.
There's tons. I mean, like I said, I was a console kid until 8 years ago or something like that. So I'm totally down to guide you through this console journey of like old classics, especially Nintendo based, because that was the main systems that we had.
Nice. Yeah, let's talk. Do it.
Yeah.
Let's chat. Your people call my people.
Yeah. There's one game that talking about indie game reminded me of oh my gosh, I always forget the name of it. I have to boot Steam. I can't remember what it's called. But it was an indie game, and it's a top-down action adventure game. And there was a cool mechanic where you dash around and you can chain these dashes together and it builds your momentum up to like a specific cap. But where is it? Oh, I just saw it. Where'd it go? Hyperlight Drifter.
Okay.
So Hyperlight Drifter, it's kind of got this kind of synth wavy vibe to it. Takes place in like an apocalypse almost like happened long ago, and now there's just kind of like these old ruins that exist of like ancient technology, this kind of thing. All the dialogue that happens in the game happens through images. So if you talk to somebody, the text bubble pops up and it's just an image to display like what they're describing, or the emotions they're basically trying to invoke. So usually you talk to somebody, you're trying to figure out what happened, so that they'll show you in an image what happened.
That's kind of cool.
Weird.
It's really cool. But the whole game, it was kind of came to be because the game developer has like a heart condition. So there's a lot of like heart metaphors, and kind of the whole thing is a metaphor of himself like being trapped in his body with this heart condition and not being able to go and do the things that he wants to do, not being able to play outside or that kind of thing. So it's this really interesting story captured as a metaphor in this game. And the gameplay is freaking sick. Top pick for 2017, I think. Just super, super fun game. If you like action adventures, it's really fun. The boss fights are great. The soundtrack is haunting and amazing. The artwork is just gorgeous. It looks like these painted background pixel scenes are just insane. I love that game so much. Hyperlight Drifter.
Friend of the show. Awesome.
My favorite part about E3. So usually every year around E3, we get an update on the newest Assassin's Creed game.
Mm-hmm.
Odyssey is currently the game that's out.
I gotta play that.
Yeah,
it looks super cool. I used to play them every single year as they came out until I played PUBG. And I have Origins, and I have only probably put in like 20 hours of that, and then I stopped because I started to play PUBG. They're not apparently coming out with one this year because it wasn't at E3. However, they came out with a story creator mode for this game. And this isn't some simple little thing. You have the full story creator tool that they use.
Whoa.
And a 159-page manual, and you can create whatever story arc you want.
That's pretty nuts.
So
how sick is that?
Are you building the world, or are you just
no? The world exists. You are still in
dialogue and stuff.
You are still in the Odyssey place, but you can create out of all the NPCs they have. You can create an entire story arc for the main characters.
That's cool.
Like completely top to bottom. And there are a lot of NPCs. So you get to do this whole thing, and there's a tutorial, but based on what everyone is saying, like this is like a full immersion thing. If you are a writer, get in there and do this. And like obviously your stories don't work that well if it has to be set in a specific place. But if it is like a pretty neutral storyline, you can place it in here and create as many characters, arcs, and storylines and plot points as you want.
That's really cool.
Can you then share these with other players?
Supposedly that's the plan.
That has to be what it's for, because who
gotta
wants to play their own story?
Yeah. So you get to do this in like the pictures that they had of like these story trees essentially are massive.
People are going to do Star Wars in it, by the way. In Game
of course
of
they are. Of course they are. Game of Thrones, they want the way they want to finish Game of Thrones. But you're going to get some really cool things out of this, I think. Yeah. And if they can do it to a point, imagine how much money they would make if they could say, all right, well, we've remastered every single setting we've ever made in any of these Assassin's Creeds, and you can create your own stories in them.
That'd be awesome. That'd be so cool.
I think this is revolutionary for gaming, and it came from a game that everybody has played. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people have already played. And so like 10 years from now, people are going to credit this releasing this tool to everybody for free, mind you, for free.
Yeah.
That it's changed the way that gaming is made and written.
Oh, you know what that reminds me of?
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Source Filmmaker, when that came out.
Mm.
Do you remember that, Dan?
Yep.
Suddenly,
Mod was like
yeah.
that was all in that time frame. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was after Gary's Mod, and basically it's how Valve was doing their TF2 short animated movies or whatever, is just through this platform. So they released it for users, and so many cool things have been made through Source Filmmaker now, because you can just like import assets and stuff like that and use 3D modeling and rendering to like create these intricate movie scenes. It's nuts.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how this is going to work for like cutscenes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
How you can create your own cutscenes, because I assume they have hundreds of hours of dialogue, and you can piece things together or do whatever you need to do.
Yeah, I wonder how they would do that.
I wonder if there's a mechanic where like, all right, well, this part of the city is where because you can go into any room of anything. So if you say, I'm going to start mine on the 3rd floor in the 4th room, you go into that, and then maybe you say like, this motion, you need to it's up. And then they go over and they pick that up. And like, you have to plan out your entire cutscene and then do whatever. I don't know. I mean, I think that would be awesome. They obviously have the assets to do it. Because almost everything is destructible in the game as well.
Whoa.
Yeah, I think the only things that aren't generally are like trees and buildings, but there are parts of all of those things that are destructible.
Oh, you know how you could do it? So you would... this might have been what you were trying to explain, but basically you do an action and kind of record that action. So like you said, you would like get up and pick something up, but that wouldn't be what the user is doing. That's what you do. And then you record, and then you can take the like camera basically and move it around to film it to make it cinematic.
Right. And they can optimize those things to make it cinematic. So they probably have a tool that says, you're going to record this and we're going to optimize that piece.
Yeah, so it'd be like a pre-rendered section. I wonder if they do that, because that's basically the same as like a replay system in PUBG, right? Except you're not building it on the fly.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. You can set up any camera angle you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think these kind of things might be one of the ways that gaming heads in the future. Like Super Mario Maker, for example, has so many people excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought that would be a cool game.
I always liked the idea of the RPG Maker, which came out so long ago, and I never wanted to do it. But it seems like a cool concept.
Another thing they announced at E3 was Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, which is a Game Boy game. It's a remake of a Game Boy game, and it has a dungeon builder in it as well. So it's
that looks really cool.
Seems like another thing where you just build your own kind of thing. So I don't know. I mean, for me, it's not something I would spend a ton of time in, I don't think. But people have been modding games for years, and that's what people like to do. And it brings all these new adventures and all these new creations that people are spending a lot of time on. Like, it's the reason
and the fact that it's happening on consoles more, I think, is the good thing.
Yeah. You know, this kind of thing, these level builders, this is the reason why I was able to play Half-Life 1 again in just beautiful graphics in Black Mesa,
Black Mesa, yeah.
It's the reason why there's going to be a Fallout game coming out that is, I think it's the Fallout 3 and Fallout 4's engine. All of these remakes, New Vegas was just remade, I think, as well. It's just like having the tools to make what essentially is, you're starting with small things like little levels here and there, or, mazes or Mario worlds, but ultimately an entire new game, potentially.
Yeah, there are tons of, so I watch a streamer who plays a lot of, or at least he used to play a lot of Super Mario Maker. And some of the levels in there are absolute garbage. Just like the worst thing, like just
those
everything
I can't
that
stand.
you can on the screen.
I've seen people they just mash shit up, and those are the ones they release to people too. Some of them, the ones they release to other people, or the ones that are just ridiculous. You're like, this isn't fun.
Yeah.
You want to immerse yourself in the world, not make something stupid.
Right. But there are some, like the top maybe 10% are just gold, just like way better than game makers could ever do. Like there are people out there who are super creative and go into the nitty gritty and trying to do like the coolest thing that they can. So it's always really fascinating to see what people can really a cool new thing that games are trying to do that is very good for the industry.
Love it. Anything else on your side, Cody?
No, I was really excited about that Assassin's Creed thing. So,
are we gonna play Fallout 76?
I feel like we should. If they're adding human NPCs to this, it might make that game worth playing. I had fun kind of building things, but I know that my biggest concerns were the fact that you couldn't. There was a limit to the size of your forts, and the fact that
you just want to play Minecraft.
You were following this. Listen, man, I like the building part of Minecraft. I do not like the crafting part.
You like the mine, not the craft.
Yes.
No, he likes the craft, just not the craft.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. I want there to be a chest full of inventory that I can just go from and design everything.
Dude, play creative.
No. I want the people that we allowed in our server to mine things for me, and I will be their overlord, and I will make a castle in the sky that will make other men weep.
Oh, I found a plateau that would be very nice for a castle. Like
cool.
For not like a crazy castle, but like a medium starter castle.
The first draft.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll show you that next time we're on, because I think there's a cool spot. But yeah, I'm down to let people, a few choice members on. I think
make them mine for me.
Yeah. I think we should. Tom being a mod seems like a good first choice. We can see if he wants to hop in the server.
Yeah.
I'm just trying my hardest to wait to allow KK on, just to make him want it.
Those of
you got to give us back all those droplets. You got to give us back all those droplets, KK.
We got a Minecraft server that we're trying to figure out the future of, but right now we're having a lot of fun playing Minecraft. I'm enjoying it. It's the first time I ever played it, and I'm shocked that I hadn't gotten into it earlier than this. Because I've always just
the only thing I don't like is having to go to bed
and get everyone to sleep in the server. Yeah,
yeah,
it's kind of a weird mechanic, but I get it. I understand why, but it's just kind of strange.
Well, there's useful things to do in the night. You just have to be kind of equipped for it. Like, I can go out and survive the night because I have like decent armor and stuff. But when you're just sitting in the building crafting and like trying to build out your room, it's just really frustrating to, one, hear all the monster noises, and then two, if they spawn anywhere near you, it's frustrating to have to deal with them.
Yeah. But back to Fallout 76. So they announced that there was NPCs coming. So that piqued my interest again, because I always felt like the world was kind of, I don't know, empty.
I didn't mind it. I didn't mind it as it was. I just, by the time I fell off the game, because I kept coming on trips out to the UK and that kind of thing, and there were other games that I was trying to play, I just fell off pretty quickly, and I think I felt like I fell behind too much because there are other people in the world. I think that was my issue mostly with the game, is that I got behind too quickly.
I wanted there to be a storyline that I cared about, and because they were all on old audio tapes, I didn't give a shit.
Well, yeah, so that was the issue playing multiplayer, right? Is you couldn't pay attention to the story while playing multiplayer.
Exactly. Especially if you're jumping in like we did in the beginning, where our friends were trying to show us what to do. But like part of the intro of that game is like you have to do some of the quests and you have to listen to some of those audio tapes.
Yeah.
And you couldn't do it when your friends are talking in your ear or they're running around you like teabagging each other and stuff. And it's like it takes you completely out of the element.
Right.
But I just kind of wanted to talk about why we think we fell off. It sounds like it was just other games. PUBG was grabbing our interest a little bit too much. I don't know. There was a lot of bugs, but those didn't really bother me that much. I was having fun. I just don't really know why It never grabbed me.
It really was for me when like almost 100%. It was the fact that there was a limit to the size that you could build your base.
I remember how disappointed you were that day when you were like, "What?"
Yeah, I was really mad. I had big plans for that place, the HOTDROP hideaway, and they like stop you at 3 floors, and then I did not like that. It still makes me mad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the combat's fun. The guns were cool. The enemies are cool. There was just a lot of weird glitchiness with enemies like in T position, like just gliding at you. I'd get that bug a lot. It's very weird. But I think I want to give it another shot. I know Downward Spiral in the Discord, he's pushing really hard for people to go back to it. He's excited about the Battle Royale mode that they just...
He thought it was fun. He thought it was a lot of fun.
He's played many, many hours, on console. So... I don't know. I think we should give it another shot eventually. I'm just not in a rush to get back to it. Let's let them iron out the NPCs and then take another gander. I think that's kind of my approach.
I think the biggest early frustration that I had with it was the my base despawning.
Yeah.
Like, why was it putting me in a server where my base would despawn?
Yeah, because someone else had the spot or something like that.
Yeah, and they fixed that relatively early, at least the bug where you would then have to just join a different server and it would show up again, but it was frustrating to still get put in a server where you didn't have your base because it's so useful because you can fast travel to it for free.
Right.
But yeah, so that was a little bit meh. Yeah, overall, I think, yeah, it was fun. I hope to get back to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we were so hyped for a long time about it. We pre-ordered it even.
To be fair, this is what I did with Fallout 3, though, too. Like, I bought it and then played it for, a very short period of time, put it away for like 3 years, and then picked it back up and beat the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it might be easier to do that with the single player, though, because like now you're going to be competing with all the people that have been playing for a long time.
I don't know how much I'll be competing with them, though.
Yeah, unless you just don't play PvP, then you're not really competing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll come back one day. Too many good games out.
I will say that I still don't think that it was as terrible a game as so many people tried to make it out to be.
I agree.
No, we had fun when we were playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Cody, when you kind of dropped off, that was like, man, he's not going to want to play it. And I kind of get it. So that was like a catalyst for me not wanting to play because you were kind of bummed about it.
I feel like I'm underplaying how disappointed I was in the fact that I could not build my thing the way that I wanted to.
Yeah.
That's why you're playing Minecraft, my dude. You can build whatever you want, however you want.
However I want. Men will weep.
Build a CPU in game.
What?
You can build a CPU. People have built an arcade machine, like a Pac-Man, working Pac-Man.
Oh my god.
The game is fucking
crazy.
Nuts.
Is that it?
No, I mean, I feel like that was good. We talked about games the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, you could cut it there.
Let's cut it there, man.
How long is it? Does it
Fucking
feel long
love
enough?
you, say it back, motherfuckers.
Cool.
That's all I got. Talk to you
Okay. Love you, say it back.
Say it back.
soon. Say it back.
Bye.